What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video. Today we are going to be talking about team building in Series 2 because honestly it's dramatically different than what I initially thought it was going to be, right? So we get access to the Paradox Pokemon in Series 2, which everybody really thought these were going to kind of be insane and really change the metagame. But if you look at a lot of the tournament stats that have been going around right now for Series 2 tournaments, really a lot has not changed that dramatically from Series 1. We're still using a lot of the same Pokemon. You're still seeing things like Golden Goes popping up. You're still seeing a lot of just the very popular Pokemon and strategies that we were using in Series 1. They still exist here, but certain Pokemon are just kind of being swapped out for Paradox Pokemon. And really, we're not building around like boosting Paradox Pokemon crazy amounts. Like, we're usually just letting them thrive with whatever their normal items would be if they didn't have the photosynthesis or the other, I don't even remember the name of the future forms ability, but we're kind of just doing our thing with them without actually giving them the ability, which is kind of interesting. So if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subscribed for more videos like this in the future, and check out the Discord. People over there play Pokemon all the time. But let's talk about this a little bit. So I'll show you the first team that I worked on. I made a video about this team as well, right? So I have a team here featuring Fluttermane and Roaring Moon because I kind of treated it like I would the double restricted format, right? Where I took two Paradox Pokemon because I thought it would be super beneficial. Here we have the Fluttermane supporting the Roaring Moon with access to Sunny Day. And initially I thought this was going to be super common. Like, we were going to see a bunch more Torkoal popping up left, right, and center. And really it's just not the case because these Pokemon are so strong just outright. Like, look at the stats on Fluttermane. Roaring Moon has really great stats, right? So we're seeing these Pokemon being used without necessarily having to reactivate their photosynthesis, or what is the other one's ability? Where's my Iron Hands? Quark Drive. We're not focusing on that. Like, we're not seeing a rise in Pincurchin. We're not really seeing any more Torkoal than normal. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. So like I said, my first team, this is not the right one. My first team, I focused heavily on trying to build around these two particular Pokemon. However, I realized you don't really have to worry about reactivating. So like Sunny Day felt kind of bad the more I played with this team. It just felt like a waste of a slot for Protect, right? Because I didn't really necessarily have to reactivate Roaring Moon to get it to perform the way I wanted it to. So if I come back up here, I started taking this approach as I was building new teams for Series 2 and taking what I had already learned from Series 1 and what I had success with in Series 1 and then just tweaking it slightly with the new Paradox Pokemon. So for example, I'm going to show the Tink Out team that I featured a bunch of times here on the channel. Really fun team that I've gotten really high on the rank ladder in game with. And I think this is just a phenomenal team. I really enjoy its playstyle. Just a really, really fun team. And the main thing was Tatsugiri and Dondozo. I really didn't think I needed to continue including these two Pokemon. Just because, I mean, they're still great. Don't get it wrong. Series 2, they're still going to be good Pokemon. But I just didn't feel the need to continue using these two Pokemon. And I wanted to kind of rotate in some of the Paradox Pokemon. So I thought about what these two Pokemon were actually doing for me and how I was playing around them. And mainly I was using Tatsugiri to set up things like Goldango for Make It Rains and things of that nature, right? Dondozo was there also with Yawn to be a good support Pokemon. So there was a lot of things I was using these Pokemon for that were not necessarily involving the commander ability, right? So I thought to myself, what's new and exciting for Series 2 that could work very well for what Tatsugiri does? Hello, the fastest Pokemon right now without booster energy. Hello. With a Focus Sash, it does the exact same thing that my Tatsugiri was doing, but then also gives me a lot more offense without locking myself into Choice Scarf, right? So I was able to come in, and this is still really good. Like, the other thing that Tatsugiri was doing on this team was being a really fast Draco Meteor, right? I was able to go in and just bop Dragon types right off the bat, made it very, very solid. And what does this Pokemon do? What does Iron Bundle do so effectively? It's fast, and it has access to super effective moves toward those particular Pokemon, towards the Dragon type. So it's filling the exact same role without having to like carry Dondozo on this team, right? And then in terms of replacing Dondozo, I wanted to work Great Tusk onto a team, and actually Iron Hands is one of the most popular Paradox Pokemon right now. It's just such a strong Pokemon. People are running it with like Assault Vest, Fake Out, Volt Switch, Thunder Punch, or Ice Punch, and then close combat or drain punch, right? So I wanted a Pokemon that was able to handle that super effectively, and I felt like Great Tusk was a really solid option. Plus it plays super well into like Poison Garganacles, right? It plays into a lot that is very popular right now. So I was able to replace Dondozo with another really strong attacker. I did throw Booster Energy on this because why wouldn't you? What else are you going to do? Maybe throw Assault Vest on it, but you might as well get the bonuses of the Booster Energy, right? Because its defenses are pretty solid regardless. So I was able to go in and just kind of make this Pokemon super powerful and replace the two that were originally still good, but just replace them with more updated versions that could do different things based on the current metagame. My Ticketon's the same. Baxcalibur has gotten shifted a little bit. We have rotated over toward a Water Terra typing. I'm still testing the Water Terra typing strictly because of Iron Hands, so that might change, but like Loaded Dice is on this, Icicle Spear, Goldengo remains the same, and then Skeledirge, the only changes that I made to Skeledirge were changing the Terra type to Fairy, and I actually gave it a Throat Spray, so I could kind of start going in and hitting harder, faster with my Torch Song buffs, right? And actually, I've been having a lot of success with this on the ladder. And this is also a really fun way to refresh your teams that you're already using in game. I know a lot of people don't like grinding for resources, but this allows you to take a couple Pokemon out and replace them with new stuff that is very popular in the format, and be able to actually use the old Pokemon that they already have access to. They already have EV trained, all that stuff. Makes it that much easier for you to go in, add a couple new Pokemon, not have to spend a bunch of money in game, or, you know, take a lot of time training new Pokemon, a whole new team. You could just use the stuff that you already have. Another example of this is the Trick Room team that I played around a lot with in VGC Series 1 that Ryuto Otsuba made. Really fun team, really fun Trick Room team that really utilized Farigiraf and Hariyama. Being able to go in and just do massive damage with Hariyama, but also having Armor Tail to set Trick Room and really not having an answer for it outside of like Goldengo, right? Not Goldengo, excuse me, Mold Breaker, Tinkaton. That's, I always think of Goldengo because I helping hand it all the time with Mold Breaker. But yeah, being able to go in with Farigiraf and just set Trick Room and then have a Hariyama do Hariyama stuff, very solid. But the way you're able to kind of warp this team moving forward, you can replace Hariyama with Iron Hands, and not even saying like Hariyama's a bad option. You could still very easily bring Hariyama to this and have just the same amount of success, right? Hariyama is now on this team. Then we're working with Brute Bonnet because we're having a lot of issues with King Gambit right now, mainly because of Iron Hands. You know, there's so many of these running around that like King Gambit really doesn't like Iron Hands at all. So I rotated in Brute Bonnet because I'm able to have big damage. I also have access to Spore, Sucker Punch, and Stomping Tantrum to handle Iron Hands, right? So I have a really solid counter to something that's super popular, but it serves a similar purpose to what King Gambit was doing for my team. Finally, I just rotated a Fluttermane on here instead of Meowscarada just to see, and then this one's still in testing. I haven't played as much with this particular variation of the team. But just a really solid option for going into you know, a fast counterpart, right? This team needed something for fast coverage, and honestly leading like Farigiraf and Fluttermane instead of Iron Hands, and being able to go in and either Dazzling Gleam or maybe run Moonblast on this and go straight into the Iron Hands on the opposing side, which we're seeing so much of, is a really solid option. So I think honestly the biggest takeaway I'm trying to like convey in this video is think Series 1, but add a couple new variables, right? Think Series 1 and how you played and the strategies that you used, but then you can go ahead and incorporate some of these newer Pokemon that do different things. They can serve that role, but do it slightly different, right? So like, for example, Iron Hands is playing instead of Hariyama. This is going to be able to play into, you know, like Azumarill got very popular toward the end of Series 1. King Gambit's super popular. This plays very well into both of those Pokemon because, you know, Azumarill Play Rough is super annoying for Iron Hands, you know, and you do have access to like Ice Punch on this thing. So you can run that as an option as well. So, you know, they serve different roles, but do very similar things. Same with Brute Bonnet. It does a lot of what King Gambit was doing for this team with having a very strong Sucker Punch and things of that nature. But you're able to also go in and do different things that, like, Iron Hands is big. I want to be able to handle Iron Hands. King Gambit really struggles with that. I'm able to go in with Stomping Tantrum and do that, right? So there's a handful of different options that you're able to do when dealing with these particular Pokemon. So I hope this video was helpful. I'm just trying to kind of give you an idea when you're going into Series 2. I know a lot of people are still playing Series 1, and it's a super fun format. I totally understand. So Series 2 is coming. We're getting there. We're about halfway through Season 2 of Series 1, and we're going to be rotating into this very soon. A lot of tournaments have started for this. Very exciting stuff. So I wanted to just kind of help you start brainstorming some ideas for moving into the next phase of Scarlet and Violet VGC. But if you found the video entertaining and helpful, please leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Check out the Discord where people over there playing Pokemon all the time. And if you want to see more from me, check out this video where I talk about the different raid counters for Greninja. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Greninja has a great typing for this particular Terra. Dark and water cover what's super effective for poison types, so it's going to be a tricky one for sure. Just depending on the moveset, things could get interesting, but I have a lot of ideas, and I'll have an updated video when that all goes live. And then also check out this other video where I went and had a Dondozo game that my Dondozo got burnt, but it just did so much work regardless. It just powered through. It cannot be stopped. Check out that video. Pretty fun stuff. But until next time, peace.